Welcome to the Panic Button. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
And today we're getting we're getting into the male boxer who's beating up women in the Olympics. Before we begin, like and subscribe to this channel and join our memberships for early access to our videos and a shout out and prioritize comments and uncensored videos because we're going to be swearing a lot in this video and probably cutting out some offensive things that YouTube won't like.
There are two allegedly biological males competing for the gold medal in women's boxing, and we have some updates. All right, so I'm sure that literally no one is surprised here, but Iman Khalif and Lin Yuting have dominated their competition, the female boxers. But guys, before we get to Friday, we have some things that we need to catch up on. So as you guys probably remember, there was a lot of confusion and genuine misinformation going around last week on social media. Are these people trans? No. Are they women? Can't say. Not exactly. Are they men? Most likely, but also can't really say. Are they intersex? That seems most logical, but also we still can't really say because we have not seen their medical records. They've just been going off about what we know about both of them and their childhoods and being raised as women, but also what we know from the IBA, who barred them from competing back in 2023 because they did not meet the gender eligibility requirements. Well, the current European Vice President of the World Boxing Organization and the former Secretary General of the IBA came out with a statement over the weekend. His last name is Kovacs, and Kovacs himself, a former Olympic and world champion boxer, told a Hungarian outlet the problem was not with the level of Khalif's testosterone, because it can be adjusted nowadays, but with the result of the gender test, which clearly revealed that the Algerian boxer is biologically male, so XY chromosomes, which is what we could all infer from the very cryptic information that the IBA was able to reveal about their testing. Now, Kovacs also said that back in 2022, the IBA and the World Boxing Organization warned the Olympic Committee about these two players, but they were brushed off. Of course, because the IOC is incredibly progressive, incredibly woke. And today, the IOC continues to ignore all of this and defend these individuals. Now, on Saturday, Thomas Bach, who's the president of the IOC, had a press conference. It's like the mid-Olympics press conference, the halfway point, and he said this.
What arguments have you heard for this male boxer?
Everyone online has said that they're intersex.
Mm-hmm.
They said they were raised as women and that we are bigots for not seeing them as women.
Right. What I've heard is that they always say she has XY chromosomes, which would make him a he, and that he was raised a girl, so he believes he's a girl, and we should feel bad for him because he doesn't know.
Can I just, I want to put my opinion out there before we get anywhere with this.
Mm-hmm.
If you are intersex of any type, you probably shouldn't be competing with females. If you are intersex female even, you still have male testosterone pumping through you. That's what makes you intersex, and you therefore maintain a higher level of testosterone than most women would. Therefore, you should not be competing with women.
Yeah, and also intersex, it's not you're both genders. You know, it's not like you're both sexes. You're either majority one sex with a disorder, like something didn't develop
you have
correctly.
internal testicles or otherwise.
Right, and abnormal looking genitalia, they say, like when you can't tell as a baby. Or you're majority female with internal testes,
which gives you increased testosterone.
Yeah, it would be like doping at the Olympics.
Which I think is an unfair advantage against biological women.
Right.
Not
exactly.
intersex. Intersex women maintain an advantage over biological women.
Yeah, and unless they take something to reduce their testosterone level, so it is not looked upon as doping. I mean, they can still compete with women because they're biological women.
But that's not the case.
That's not the case. No, this is a biological male who was raised as a girl. Now, I've heard arguments where like, oh, there are people who have said that this person was raised as a girl, and you know, we saw pictures of her as a girl, and I'm like, I still don't buy it. I'm really sick of these people just blindly believing people and then saying because you don't believe it, you're like a conspiracy theorist. And it's like, no, I just know people lie.
Well, if you look at the picture, it doesn't seem like they're living as women.
No, it certainly doesn't.
These days.
There was one picture of him as a little girl that I saw in a pink shirt, but that doesn't prove anything to me at all. Mm-hmm. And also, why wouldn't Algeria lie? Why wouldn't these boxers lie? Do you know they've never won a medal in boxing?
What if
ever?
That's like his sister
in the Olympics?
Or something?
What?
I said, what if that's like his sister or something?
Oh, it might be. You never know. But we're the conspiracy theorists because we're questioning the ethics and the truth of people, you know?
I'm not saying it is. I'm asking what if. Also, I don't know anything about that type of family. Like, I don't know anything about his family. I'm just saying, even if they are females, raised as females, having XY chromosomes alone makes you a man. But whatever ailments you go through, in any intersex category, you have an advantage over women because you have more testosterone, no matter which way you swing it.
I agree.
Yeah.
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 And also, there was this one video of him like tapping the Italian chick on the boob, which I'm sorry, but as a woman,
I've never been tapped on the boob.
I've never tapped a woman on the boob saying congratulations because I know where they are. If someone doesn't have boobs, then they're not thinking about that. If there's someone who normally competes against men, they're not thinking about that. They say this man competes against women all the time, which I also find hard to believe. I'd like to see proof of that. And if that is true, then I feel absolutely terrible for these women. But this dude is, I don't believe a lot of stuff that people are saying. And I think it's also because so many people are so quick to give this guy an out, feel bad for him and be like, oh, he doesn't know. And it's like, this guy's a grown adult. Do you really believe that a grown adult looking at himself in the mirror really believes that he's a girl? Or do we believe that he's trying to win the first Olympic boxing medal for his country and he's going to do whatever he has to do? I'm going to go with the latter because that makes more sense than being like, oh, well, he's just like so mentally disabled. He doesn't know that he has such a giant advantage over these small women. It makes no sense. You know what I mean?
It makes no sense whatsoever.
And also, I want to bring up the point that the women that he's competing with, they're the top boxing female athletes in the world. Mm-hmm. Now, when the top female boxing athletes in the world are saying that this athlete hits so hard, they've never been hit this hard, I'm going to think it's because she's getting hit by a dude and not a woman.
Even if you give the liberty of calling this individual a woman, they have extra testosterone, which means they get bigger muscles, which means that they can hit way harder.
Okay. No, I'm going to give you the argument that the progressives use, which is that he has a disorder where his body doesn't take in testosterone the same way a normal male does.
He still takes it in differently than a female would, which makes it a disadvantage for any biological woman without a disorder.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, this is all hypothetical because there is actually no proof that has been seen that this person is actually DSD and intersex, hermaphrodite, or whatever you want to call it. There's no proof, so this is all just speculation right now.
My whole point is, even if you give the liberty of, yes, this person was raised as a woman, they may have XY chromosomes, but they are intersex, they have DSD situations going on. Mm-hmm. Even if you say that, they still maintain a significant advantage over biological women. Look at how tall they are. Look at how muscular they are versus the top boxing women. It is evident to me that they have more testosterone than the rest of the women do.
The Adam's apple, everything.
And if we're gonna allow people who have disorders that cause them to have genetic advantages into these competitions, then just allow doping.
At that point.
Then at least it's fair.
Then that would be fair, yeah. But I also have a question, which is if genetic testing, sex testing is not important, then why is weight important in boxing? Why is weight important? Because weight, like depending on the person's weight, they have a significant advantage over someone who has less weight.
Yeah, because you have more oomph behind your punches.
Right. So if weight is so important, then why isn't the sex of the person not important?
It is, though, because that's why we have male boxing and women's boxing.
It just shows the hypocrisy of the Olympics. Also, they're letting in a to compete when he raped a 12-year-old, so I don't really see the Olympics as having any sort of morality or fairness. As much as this is supposed to be the height of sports competition in the world, it's such a farce. It's bullshit. It really is bullshit. And for how many years did the Olympics defend Larry Nassar, the guy who was molesting all the gymnasts?
I don't know.
Maybe, just maybe, the Olympics and the people who run the Olympics,
IOC,
hate women. Maybe they have something against women. It's the patterns. Everything kind of lines up like that.
At least it feels that way when you're doing these things.
No, this isn't a feeling. This is just acknowledging all these things and putting them together and saying, oh, well, looks like misogyny to me.
I can only invite them to come up with a scientific-based, a new definition of who is a woman.
We don't need a new scientific base to determine what is a woman.
What is a woman? Can you tell me that?
We have it. We've had it forever. You literally just need to ask a doctor. You want a new definition so that it can fit your narrative of what you are saying a woman is. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bach.
And somebody being born, raised, competed, and having a passport as a woman.
Not born. Phenotype and genotype, right? The genes say XY. The phenotype is a baby. Probably they were like, deformity of the genitalia. Might be a girl. We're going to say it's a girl. That's not being born as a woman.
I know.
That's being born as a genetic male.
I know. No, and that's why that boxer had the best burn of the little XX.
Yeah, she did this.
Put up the picture.
Like, this isn't fair, okay? Like, we all know we're fighting a guy here, and you guys are all trying to gaslight us into believing that this is a biological woman.
Like, I'm competing because I got here, but at the same time, you know I'm going to lose because look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what the betting stats are for the male boxer.
I don't know if...
You probably like win $3 or $6 on $1,000,
yeah,
or $1,000 bet. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, if the bookies know, why are they acting like they don't know what a woman is? Doesn't it seem a little suspicious to you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, next Olympics we'll have so many people.
We'll have a lot more men in the Olympics because if they allow this, and the Olympics are going to be in LA in 2028. Unless there's a huge backlash between now and then, I think we're going to have a lot more men who are saying they have DSD competing with women in the Olympics.
Yeah, it just matters what happens in the political arena for the next couple of years.
Cannot be considered a woman.
Because none of that is biology.
We will not take part in a politically motivated, sometimes politically motivated cultural war.
I find this really
ironic.
Funny. Yeah, ironic or funny. We will not be taking, we're not going to put ourselves in this political conversation.
But we already have.
It's like being in a relationship with someone who likes to mess with your head all the time. Like, you guys did this, and now you're acting like because we have a reaction that we're the ones who started it.
It's like going to your boyfriend.
Sorry, no.
It's like going to your boyfriend who you know cheated on you and being like, hey, you cheated on me. And he's like, I am not going to have this conversation. We are fine. Everything's fine. I did not do it. And you're like, no, I have proof that you cheated on me. And they're like, no, I don't have conversation. Dinner. What you want for dinner?
I've noticed that big groups like this, progressives just in general, are just so hard-pressed on making you, forcing you, gaslighting you into believe that what you are seeing with your eyes is false. It is crazy.
Well, yeah, because if they can control the way you see things, they have power over you as an entirety.
Oh, it's like 1984 in Animal Farm.
Yeah.
What is going on in this context in the social media?
Here you go.
With all this hate speech, with this aggression and abuse, and fueled by this agenda, is total.
When you create a situation where there is complete unfairness going on within the sports competition and someone is calling it out, you calling it hate speech is making you look like an asshole and reduces the oomph of what hate speech actually is.
It's crazy how bad you want to make someone hitting a woman not matter.
Right. It's like, let's defend the abuser and attack the people standing up for the abused.
Standing up with a bloody nose because they just got whacked 18 times harder than they've ever been whacked in their life. How bad do you want people to hit women?
I don't know.
Specifically people who have penises.
Well, according to them, if you were raised a woman, you are one.
If you were raised as a woman.
Did your growing up,
does a woman gorilla get to punch me? No.
Does your past punch the woman, or does your body punch the woman? Does your gender punch the woman, or does your male body punch the woman? In sports, what's competing are bodies, and that body is an XY body with an exorbitant amount of testosterone in comparison to the woman he's fighting.
Yes.
So why are they trying to make it seem like this is way more complicated than it is?
It's like
Because they're retarded.
It's like trying to call it a domestic case, and they're like, yeah, they're both women.
Right. That's fine.
Cat
It's
fight.
fair. It's
Cat
fair.
fight. No biggie.
But do you notice how they're always trying to defend the abusers? I find it incredibly
Just comforting.
ironic, because these are the same people who say, I am for women's rights and women's rights to choose.
But they're all men. But everyone who's spoken has been man.
Oh no, there are women. There is one specific lesbian who has mentioned,
No, I mean,
like,
like
the empathy
the
for this
officials.
man. It's like,
But the officials are all men.
right. It reminds me of a conversation I heard between, there was a conversation I heard where this woman said that her husband cheated on her with a 12-year-old from their youth group.
Oh, God.
And he said that the 12-year-old seduced him, and she believed him. That how could that 12-year-old seduce him? It kind of reminds me of that, where it's just so blatantly crazy to believe that. You're literally attacking the abused and defending the
victim.
abuser. Yeah. It reminds me of the same thing. How long did they defend Larry Nassar for? Cover his tracks before anything happened.
I didn't follow that stuff.
I'm not asking you directly.
Totally unacceptable.
Okay, so it's hate speech. It's totally unacceptable. And people worried that a biological male is fighting biological.
How dare you? How dare you attack the man who's punching women? The most professional boxing women in the world, the best boxers, female boxers in the world,
Yeah.
are getting punched so hard that they have to stop the fight. The other one tried to stop the fight, but the coach wouldn't let her. How dare you get mad at this man for punching these women who have been punched by women their whole lives and have never been hitting as hard as they have been when they got in the ring with this woman. Man! Hello! Man! It is a man. Look at the man. Look at him. Just look at him. Okay. You see the madness? Would you like to get hit by that man? Would you like your daughter to get hit by that man? Do you think that's fair?
Women in your women's boxing tournament, that's actually just fueled by politics and an agenda. Okay, it's really quite simple. You literally just have to look at the science. And sir, you can call yourself a woman. Anybody can call themselves a woman. You can be a woman on your passport. You can have competed as a woman, and you can also still not be a woman. That's called biology. I don't know if you
Oh, also, do you think that maybe the country this guy is from, him and his coaches all know that this progressiveness
Is like
will
plaguing.
defend them?
It's plaguing with the free world, so it's on their side. Yeah.
It is on their side. They know that they can get away with it and they'll be protected because they're vulnerable. The people who actually believe that they don't know what they're doing, and there were conspiracy theorists for side-eyeing and questioning the motives of these individuals, they're the crazy ones. They're the crazy ones who actually believe this. These are people who have literally never experienced evil people before. You have to, as a woman in this world, well, as anyone in this world, you have to be skeptical. There has to be a healthy amount of skepticism, because naturally
you get
people
this.
will not be good people, okay? We've all known, right? So what makes this person not an
The agenda.
protected classes means that they can't be evil people? We have to protect them even if they're evil and violent, nasty, rapists, murderers, pedophiles. We just have to protect them because they do not know what they do because they're victims? I'm sorry. No. You might as well just open all the prisons now and let them all out. Let them all out.
Yeah, they're defending a lot of people here with
Who don't deserve
no record.
defending.
If someone's in the Olympics and they say, no, I'm not juicing, are you not testing them still?
Well, of course you are, because why would you just blatantly believe them? Oh, unless
But it's not the
they
same with
say they're a
gender.
woman, then that's different, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I see where you're at. They're just a whole bunch of misogynistic assholes who need to be
I've heard of it. In another statement, the IOC reiterated all of that, and then they said that every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. Like, it's so laughable. Like, do women have the right to practice sport fairly or safely? I mean, think about all the women who have been injured by the men that they have been forced to compete against. I mean, was it fair or free of discrimination when a 17-year-old volleyball player was slammed in the head and left partially paralyzed while their transgender competitor was cackling above her in glee? No. And yes, that is an absolutely real story. You can go read this article. But these people would rather let young female athletes like Peyton McNabb have their careers ended. And
These people would rather make fun of and yell at the 17-year-old who's half partially paralyzed.
Not being accepting.
And grovel at the feet of this guy who says he's a girl who did this to her and say, we're so sorry people were making fun of you and attacking you online. Like, what are we doing? What? Progressivism is the new Orwellian
Dystopian society.
dystopian suppressing society. Like, you are literally suppressing the people who need protection the most, which is women.
Yes.
What happened to Me Too? It went from believe all women to shut up bigots.
Believe all women if they say they're women, but don't believe the TERFs because they're not really women.
Don't
even
believe
if they
in
are
yeah,
women.
right. Well, it's not even TERFs. It's like believe the men who think they're women, but don't believe the women who
Want to protect women.
yeah, who go against your ideology, which is what it is. It's just the belief. It's just ridiculous, retarded beliefs, honestly.
face permanent, life-changing injuries than be politically incorrect, even when the evidence is right in front of their faces. I mean, literally this morning, the IBA held their own press conference to provide even more clarity about Iman and Yuting. Just listen.
The tests were taken and the results, I'm going to discuss this shortly, the results that were brought out were inconsistent. So, further to which...
Inconsistent with being female.
That happened, and on the 23rd of March, the results came through, and it demonstrated the chromosomes that we refer to within the technical and competition rules that make both boxers ineligible. And that was then further ratified by the BOD, our board of directors. It was taken there to remove both boxers from the championships. On the back end of that, the results came out that no further action to be taken.
So that whole clip is about 5 minutes long, but TLDR, there were 2 rounds of gender testing. They failed both of them. They were given the opportunity to appeal after they were notified in writing about the results of these blood tests. Yuting decided not to appeal. Iman Khalif did try to appeal, but then after further discussions, withdrew. So these are legally binding. They signed those letters. They acknowledged that they failed the gender eligibility requirements, and they moved on. Now, after that, the former chair of the IBA's medical committee stepped in to answer some questions. Journalists obviously pushed him further, but his answer was the same.
Medical result, that result looks and taken laboratories that this boxer is male.
So there you have it. One person commented and said, so basically, we know they're males. They know they're males. The IOC knows they're males. And the people on X idolizing them beating on women are misogynistic idiots who would sell their souls in order to validate men in women's spaces. Yikes. Yeah, that about sums it up. Another person said, so the IOC is deliberately allowing men to punch women. I bet they come back with, but we checked their passports for the...
Mind you, this is not the first time that men have been competing in female sports in the Olympics.
No.
There was another guy who was, I believe, a runner who was competing, and he literally said, my testicles do not make me less female. My testicles do not make me male. It was something like that. And you could see this guy is a freaking dude. Whether he has DSD, I don't know. Maybe he does. Either way, it's a freaking dude. Okay? Yeah. So, and this only proves my point when it comes to the transgender argument, because the transgender argument uses these people in order to make their point.
Yeah.
And this is why it's so intertwined with the LGBTQ thing, why these individuals who claim to be DSD are so intertwined with the LGBTQ argument.
For the fourth time, absolutely. And again, the passports...
Because they both take advantage of people. They got. I mean, if this is someone who is intersex, they're totally on board with the trans thing because they get to take advantage of people.
Oh yeah, and I mean, when you're given a chance to cheat and get away with it, who isn't going to take that?
Most people would.
Most people would. So why are these people trying to make us believe that there's no way in hell people who would be given the chance to cheat wouldn't take it? But there's something wrong with us because we're questioning it. No, I'm sorry. There's something wrong with you people if you actually feel bad for this grown male who is punching women. Oh, poor her. Oh, she grew up a woman and she had this disorder. She's beating up fucking women. I think she's taking out her aggression on women
Using that testosterone while it's
Yeah,
there.
he's pissed off that it was born however it was born. So he's like, okay, well, I'll just beat up women.
Because I can.
Because I was born in Algeria and that's what men do, right? I don't know.
Fourth time, absolutely. And again, the passports literally mean nothing. We know already that they are listed as female. That's a fact. We know that they were raised as females. But considering that doctors usually recommend intersex babies to be raised as female and that they undergo gender normalization surgeries, there is more nuance here. While that gender normalization surgery can change the baby's genitals to look more in line with one of the sexes, usually female, you can't change genetics. And having that XY chromosome and obviously the high levels of testosterone and the large body mass gives these two athletes, a very serious advantage. That is why they were disqualified. And Khalif, at least, does not seem to care. NBC reported that after Khalif's most recent win, the boxer said, "I want to tell the entire world that I'm female and I will remain a female." Now, what is so disappointing and maddening about this entire situation is that if the IOC would just be honest and would stop being so cucked by political correctness, this could actually spark a very important and productive discussion that would help everyone involved. If Khalif and Yuting are both actually intersex and both have DSD, which again isn't fully confirmed, but it's a high probability that that is what's going on, that is not their fault or their choice. That is how they were born. They cannot help the chromosomes that they have or how their families chose to raise them, but the IOC can make an effort to acknowledge the situation, to at least acknowledge it and take steps to protect female competitors. And of course, now that they are aware of the situation, Khalif and Yuting.
But they should also acknowledge that they have an unfair advantage and they shouldn't be competing. The fact that they are means that they're assholes who are getting away with cheating.
Yes, but instead of having a conversation about what we should do with athletes who want to do something about their gender, what advantages these athletes might have, they don't think, oh, well, we could set up another category. They could have that discussion. But by not talking about it, you're hurting women and you're disabling the people like these people from what is hypothetically unnecessary negative attention or positive attention, whichever end of the spectrum you're on. These people, if they had the conversation, they could be fighting within a category that's meant for them and trans people.
They don't want to, though, because
No.
then they wouldn't be winning an Olympic medal. They'd be, you know what I mean? They would be in a
the
different...
point being made here is that they could have their own category.
They don't
but
want
they
it.
don't want to have that conversation.
No, they don't want it. And I understand why their countries are backing them because they've never won an Olympic medal in boxing, Taiwan or Algeria. So I could see why their countries will be like, we support these women. They are biological women and we support them and they're beating up of women to win medals for our country. I don't know, but that was an accent.
Any accent.
Any accent.
And take steps to protect female competitors. And of course, now that they are aware of the situation, Khalif and Yuting do have the choice to not compete. But why would they not compete when the IOC is literally rolling out the red carpet for them? Right now, the IOC is not even acknowledging that this is a potential problem. They're not acknowledging women's concerns in the slightest. They're blowing them off as hate speech. I mean, what a way to send such a bold middle finger to your female athletes. It's disgusting.
It's a pretty good way to sum it up. It's kind of like looking at all the women and being like,
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question for you, though. I have a question for them and I have a question for you.
okay.
Do you feel like these biological male boxers should have any blame put on them for what they're doing?
You see, that's hard. Only because if they were raised as women and they're being used as pawns in this, I would feel bad putting blame on them directly. However, if they know it's wrong, like if they know the truth and they don't buy into the bullshit, it's hard because you don't know who's brainwashed, you know? Mm-hmm. You know? And I feel like if I were born male, raised female, I wouldn't put all the blame on that person. I do blame them for not having the conversation. Mm-hmm. I do blame them for not having the conversation. Then we need our own category, if that's the case. However, I can't tell their personal motives, therefore I cannot assign blame.
Okay, it's understandable. I think they know exactly what they're doing and they're assholes. Like and subscribe to our channel, join our membership for early access to our videos, prioritize commenting, and uncensored.
Nina, uncensored. We could start a little small series where you just go up on rants once a week.
It would definitely be for members only then.
Yeah.
Because it'll definitely get demonetized.
Yeah, no, that would be specifically a members only series.
Yeah. So have a good one, guys.
Bye!